So this video is for integrated 1. This is chapter 3, page 25 to 26. So on Friday, we were learning how to use algebra tiles to build rectangles. So here they have an example of one that they built, and they wanted us to find the areas of product and the areas of sum. So the area of the product is we're trying to find length times width. And so what we want to remember is that each of these squares here are x by x. Each of these rectangles is x by 1. And each of these little squares are 1 by 1. Okay. And that's what each of those represents. So in this situation, this whole section here is 2x because you have this x and this x. And then this section here, each of these is 1, and we have 3. So the whole thing here is going to be 2x plus 3. Now across the top, each of these lengths is an x. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 x. And then each of these is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So plus 5. So when they ask us for areas of product, that's going to be taking the length and the width. So 2x plus 3 times 4x plus 5. That's one way to find the area of this rectangle. The other way is to find the area of each of these pieces. So when I'm looking at this section here, this whole section are all x squareds. And in this section, I have 8x squareds. And in this section right here, each of these are x's, and same with over here. In this section, I have 1, 2, let's see, 1, 2, 3 by 1, 2, 3, 4. So that means I'm going to have 12 x's. Now over here, I have 2 rows of 5, so that's going to be 10 x's. And then in this last section, I have 1s, and I have 3 rows of 5, which means we have 15. So when we add all of that together, that's going to be the areas as a sum, which is 8x squared. And then I have 12x here and 10x here, which is going to give me 22x plus 15. Now, it's a pain to draw these out all the time, so we want to think of a different way to do this. So down here, let me just kind of zoom in here. What you'll notice is this section right here is the same as this up here, this 12x. This right here is 10x, but instead of drawing it out, we just wrote 10x. Right here, here's my 15, just like up here. And then I have my 8x squared, which is the same as this 8x squared. So instead of doing it and drawing it out separately, we have them grouped together. So I have grouped, this is a little thicker. I have grouped these 8x squared separately are all 8x squared. I've got these 15 ones, which I'm just writing as 15. I have this 12x here, and then that 10x here. And so instead of drawing out each of those separate pieces, we have them in a box, a rectangle, and we call that an area model. So we're going to try to do a couple of these. So here they've got these set up for us, and we are going to be multiplying to get each of these pieces. So this piece right here is represented by a 5 by 2x, which means that this is going to be 10x. This one right here is a 5 by 3, which means 15. This one here is an x by 2x, which is a 2x squared. This one here is an x by 3, which is going to be a 3x. And then they want us to write areas of product equal areas of sum. So the outside is going to be what I see down here, 2x plus 3 and x plus 5. So 2x plus 3 and x plus 5 equals, and then the inside is 2x squared plus 13x plus 15. On the next one, this is going to be a 3y. This is going to be a 15. So area as a sum, as a product, sorry, is going to be 3 times y plus 5. Areas of sum is going to be 3y plus 15. On letter C, you'll notice that I've got 2 terms here and 3 terms here. So I'm going to take -7 times each of these to get this top row, and 4y times each of these to get the bottom row. So -7 times 6y is a -42y. -7 times x is a -7x. -7 times 1 is a -7. Here, 4y times 6y is a 24y squared. A 4y and an x is a 4xy. And the next one is going to be 4y. And so I'm going to write this out as a 4y minus 7 times a 6y plus x plus 1. And that is equal to a 24y squared, a 4xy, and the only things that I have are like is I have a -42y and I have a 4y. And so that's going to be a -38y minus 7x minus 7. This one over here is going to be a 2x squared, and that's going to be an x times a 2x is equal to a 2x squared. So this next one, they want us to do the same thing, but we're going to have to draw it out. I'm just going to get a rectangle here so I can just kind of draw the rectangle nicely. Okay, let me just kind of draw rectangles for each of these. Okay. Now, this first one I need to pay attention to. I've got 2 terms here and 2 terms here. So this is going to be a 2 by 2. And so I am going to have an x and a plus 1 and an x and a plus 2, and then I'm going to multiply. This top row is going to be x times both of these. The bottom row is going to be 2 times both of these. So I'm going to get an x times x, which is an x squared, x times 1, which is x, 2 times x, which is 2x, 2 times 1, which is 2. And then my answer is going to be x plus 1 times x plus 2 is equal to x squared plus 3x plus 2. The next one, I have a 1 term times 2 terms, so that's going to be a 2 by 1. Okay. So I'm going to have a 3 here and a 2x plus 5 here. I multiply, get a 6x and a 15. So it's going to be 3 times 2x plus 5 is equal to 6x plus 15. The next one, I have 2 terms and 2 terms, so that's going to be a 2 by 2. And so I'm going to have a 2x and a minus 3, an x and a plus 2. So I get 2x squared, -3x, 4x, and a -6. And so let me write this in a different color because it's going to get kind of scrunched here. A 2x minus 3 times an x plus 2 is equal to 2x squared plus x minus 6. So this next one is going to be a 2 by 2. So I'm going to draw that. I have an x and a -1, a y and a -1. X times y is xy. Y times a negative 1 is a negative y. Negative 1 times x is a negative x, and a negative 1 times a negative 1 is a 1. So I'm going to have x minus 1 times y minus 1 equals xy minus x minus y plus 1. The next one's going to be a negative 2y, and I have a y and a plus 3, so it's going to be a negative 2y squared and a negative 6y. So it's going to be a negative 2y times a y plus 3 is equal to negative 2y squared minus 6y. Now, this last one here, I have 2 terms and 3 terms, so I'm going to draw it as a 2 by 3. And I'm going to have my negative x and my plus 1, 3x plus y minus 4. So it's going to be a negative 3x squared, a negative xy, a 4x, a 3x, a y, and a negative 4. So it's going to be a negative x plus 1 times 3x plus y minus 4 is equal to a negative 3x squared, a negative xy, a positive 7x, a positive y, and a negative 4. And that will be my answer. And that's the end of this video.